Has someone ever told you the sentence, hey, don't be in your head so much. You're overthinking, you're too much in your brain. Well, that's kind of a good intention, but it's also a bit stupid advice because you're always in your brain. And everything that happens in your experience is governed by different areas of your brain. So even though we think we have one brain, we actually have three brains that come out of different stages of our evolution, and they govern completely different things. So let's have a look at that because it's pretty fascinating. You have the brainstem back here with the cerebellum, which is also called the reptile brain, which we share with reptiles, hence the name. And this is governed basically the autopilot. It governs all our instincts, natural reactions, and it governs the fight, flight, freeze response. So the capability or the task of this area here is to survive, ensure our survival. And the limbic brain, which we have basically here in the middle, this is where we feel. We share this also with mammals, for example, with my dog. He also has a limbic brain. But we use this to have emotion, to have memory, this is the seat of our habits. And then the green part here, which is the neocortex, this is essentially what makes us human. This is where we think, which we love to do so much. Thinking, overthinking, constantly analyzing, planning, fretting about the past, going into the future, all that stuff happens here. This is kind of where, when somebody says, don't be in your head so much, then you're here. Then you're in this overthinking or negative thinking loop. So this is also where they say this is the seat of the self or of our personality. Let's put it this way. Now, why do we have one brain, but we say we have three brains? And what happens in toxic or chronic stress or even traumatic situations? Because then these do not work together anymore nicely. They do all their own thing. So look at this. Imagine there is a situation and your nervous system tells us, okay, here is danger. We need to do something about this. First thing is that the neocortex goes offline, because critical and analytical complex thinking is not necessarily helpful in a situation where there's danger and you need to react fast. So imagine something happens and you're like, well, let's think about it and maybe we should go left or right, or we should maybe run up there, but I don't know if it's nice up there. I've been better. No, you need to react immediately and run. So this goes offline. Next, if stress goes on and if this whole situation keeps on happening, then parts of your limbic brain go offline, literally go offline. For example, the hippocampus, this is wild. Because of the cocktail of hormones that is being released in situations of stress, the hippocampus can actually fry. There are actually scars, so it goes offline. Certain areas, the hippocampus, where we have our seat of memory and saving memory of a specific situation, goes offline. So for example, it might have happened to you, wow, I cannot even remember how it happened. The area in your brain that is responsible for memory was offline. There's no way to remember it. And then, if all this is offline, this guy here takes over control, okay? So this is basically, there's no more clear thinking, there's no more really feeling, and the gap between the stimulus and the response, so the outside trigger and how you react to it, is very short, so you react immediately. This is also when people have the survival mode stuck here, they lash out super fast. Like people who are like chronically aggressive and this type of stuff could be a reaction. So this is then just firing fight, flight, or freeze. This is what's going on in toxic stress. So the brainstem is taking control, and this also explains to you why sometimes our reactions can be so weird. We overreact in a situation and then later on we think like, wow, that was kind of not necessarily the best reaction or something, or I could have done it differently. But in the situation you couldn't, you simply couldn't. You were on autopilot, the survival reaction. Now, how does the brain and the system specifically process stress chemicals and stress reactions? I'll show you in the next video.